Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Lifestyle Architecture Lab. In this show, I talk about lifestyle design, financial freedom, and also dissect the process, behavior, and routines of the personalities who have designed a lifestyle of freedom for themselves. These guests range from artists, musicians, entrepreneurs, lifestyle coaches, investors, professional athletes, etc. These conversations dig deep into their stories to find out their thought process, tools, strategies, and tricks that makes them tick.
This is happening.
Let me just do what I love to.
No 9 to 5.
Eat that frog. You gotta work hard.
Risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. This is Lifestyle Architecture Lab, and I'm your host Himanshu Sachdeva.
In this episode, I'm talking to Shubham Vanmali, who is an international ultra swimmer and has swam English Channel and many other prestigious swim races across the world. In this conversation, we talk about how he worked with his learning disability and became an international athlete. Now he's also working for this cause of mental health and related issues and spreading awareness about it. There are a lot of stories in this episode. If someone wants to pursue professional swimming as a career, this episode is a must listen. So without further ado, please enjoy this conversation with Shubham Vanmali. My man Shubham, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. And I think we met the last time. Usually I do this as an audio show, but
Yes.
you gave the idea for the video show. So it's great to start off with you. And I think you can start off the story, your story, with the incident which you told me about your swim between the sharks in Hawaii,
yes.
and you were swimming for a lot of time
Yes.
with a paralyzed shoulder. So what is that story all about?
So what happened was I was in San Francisco and I was training in San Francisco, and we were supposed to swim the round trip Angel Island swim, and which is one of the iconic swims. And the swim is supposed to be 16 kilometers. It starts from the Bay of San Francisco, goes around the island, and comes back there. And 16 kilometers, you would expect, like, I have swum 16 kilometers before, and it took me 3 hours 16 minutes, and it was like max to max it will take me 4 hours, but they warned me the currents are strong, so like imagine that you will be swimming for 5 hours or 6 hours. So I was like, okay, fine. And my head was like 5-6 hours of swim, and we go for the swim, and I was scheduled to swim in Hawaii in 2 weeks. The
Alright.
swim started off, it went, everything was going fine. While coming back, I was drifting away. I was not able to reach my finishing point, and I was been drifting away, and I ended up right underneath Golden Gate Bridge,
Wow,
which
what a way to go!
Yeah.
See the Golden Gate
Yeah.
Bridge.
And it was like completely off my route. So I was waiting at that spot, and I was swimming against the current without making any progress. But I was at one place, and I knew that the current will change eventually, and it's always flooding or it's ebbing. So once the flood starts, it will push me back to my finishing point.
Right.
And I kept that in mind. I was not ready to give up, and after a while the current stopped. I started to make a progress, and then we ended up finishing the swim in 10 hours instead of 5 hours, which was a really long time. And I had a shoulder injury before going for the swim, and once we did a lot of rehab and a lot of medical things, and shoulder was feeling better. But after the swim, my shoulder started giving some sensation. It was like going numb on and off. And we were scheduled to swim Hawaii, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
And we took a chance. We went to Hawaii, and
Without it getting proper recovery.
recovered. Yeah, because 1.5 week, I guess, 1.5 weeks to Hawaii, and I made sure I'm not swimming too much before Hawaii, and because already a 10-hour swim is insane.
It must
to
be
swim.
exhausting.
Yes, and we were predicting a Hawaii swim somewhere from 14 to 15 hours. So it was supposed to be a really long swim, and we spoke to the pilot. We were looking for a good day, but we had only one slot where we had to go for it, and we didn't like the weather was not great, but we took our chances, and we knew you know how Hawaii is. It's like for surfers. It's full of wind and it's full of tiger sharks, and we the moment we spoke to the pilot, he was like, yeah, this is the day when you're supposed to swim, but the but over here is that my dad has to swim to the boat because there are no docks. So it's from one island to another. We flew to the island and we were supposed to start from the island. So if we come by boat, it will make me nauseous. It will make the crew nauseous. It's better I fly there and then come start the swim from there.
Okay.
So they said that there was no docks, so your father has to swim to the boat. So my father like, I am a swimmer, but I'm not a great swimmer. I can't swim 100 meters at a stretch, that too in the sea.
Yeah.
So he was like, the pilot suggested I'll send a kayaker. His son was the kayaker, one of the kayaker, and I'll send it to you, and he will come swimming, and you come by kayak. My father was like, okay. We went for the swim, and the swim was supposed to start around I think 7:30, and which ended up delayed, like which was delayed because of my flights getting delayed, and we started swim around 8:39, I guess. Yeah, and the kayaker came in. He was sitting in the kayak, and my dad came on the kayak. He was trying to sit on the kayak, and my dad is not used to kayak, and my dad flips. The moment he flips, something, I think the paddle or something hits my leg, and my leg opens up, like just a slight.
Cracks open small.
Yeah, just a small slight of like a cut, and it started bleeding. No one realized this.
But you knew.
I knew.
But you didn't tell anyone.
Yes, because I just wanted to start the swim, and what we do is like, so the dad goes on the boat. He goes to the boat. He reaches the boat safe, and we start off the swim. And I don't take a feed for first 1 hour. And I am scared at this point because no one on the boat knows that my leg
You're
is
bleeding.
Yeah, I'm bleeding. And they have this kayak beside me all the time, and the boat goes further away.
Right.
And the kayak has a shark shield on the top. So the shark shield is like a rod which has electric current to it. So whenever the shark touches, it gets shocked and it runs away. And
So it's like a protection from sharks.
Yes. And the sun has now gone down. Now it's pitch
Wow.
black. It's absolutely
More
pitch
scary.
black. Yeah, it was scary. And I was like, I can't see anything right now. And the most scariest part is there are a lot of bioluminescent planktons in the sea.
Right. The plants which illuminates in the night.
Yes. And the moment something touches it, it
Lights up.
it lights up. And I could see them getting lit up underneath me. And it's like further deep. And I know there is some fish underneath me.
Wow.
So it was very scary. And 1 hour, I don't know how I managed it, but we swam.
You faced your fear.
Yes, I faced my fear, and I was like, okay, I have to tell this now to the crew.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, okay, we'll attach another shark shield on the back of the boat. So there were two rods, electric rods, on front of the kayak and the back of the kayak. And they asked me to stay close to the kayak. I was like, okay, that can be done.
Yeah.
And I kept swimming very close to the kayak. We are swimming, and the currents are so big, the waves are so big. Not the currents, but the waves itself are so big that the kayak was coming on me and off me. The moment the kayak touches me, the electric rod also touches me. And it gives me an insane shock.
Wow.
And I was trying to maintain my distance with the kayak. 2 hours in, 3 hours in, 4 hours in. My boat was coming in, giving me feed, going back. My dad and we are in constant communication, and my shoulders started hurting. I had some painkillers while swimming, and
From the previous swim.
yes, it started to lose sensation. It went numb, and my dad we started consuming painkillers during the swim to avoid the pain, and I think it was 7 hours. Yeah, I think 7 hours in the water. And my hand completely disconnects.
Wow.
I don't feel any sensation in my right arm, and it's like I'm not able to pinch it I'm not able to do anything, so I'm just swimming with my left arm. Like,
Wow.
yeah. And the kayaker goes like, wait, what's happening? So we had two kayakers. One was the son of the pilot, and the other one was an Olympic kayaker from Australia. So she was in Hawaii, and she usually kayaks for the swimmers. So she was like, she was one of my kayakers, and she was like, what's wrong with you? Why are you swimming with left arm? And I can't feel my arm. Like, okay, go for it. And now I'm not able to maintain the balance with the
With
kayak.
your one arm.
One arm, yeah. And the waves were so putting me off balance that I was coming really close to the kayak, and the electric shocks were really hitting me hard. And one point I went so away from the kayak. I was 25 meters away from the kayak. There is no light around us. There's just one glow stick, and the kayaker was having like crazy difficulties spotting me in the water.
Wow.
Because it's pitch
So
dark.
you're completely swimming in the dark.
In the dark, and I'm not able to spot kayaker at this point. Like,
Oh my God.
And then again we meet, and then I'm swimming with left arm, and then my father comes in. The boat again comes in, and my dad goes like, "Why is he swimming with left arm?" he's just like, "What's happening over here?" And then he's like, "What's wrong with him?" Like, I can't feel my right arm. And my dad is like, "So what do you think we should do?" And I was like, "Keep swimming." And he's like, "No way."
You don't want to give up.
Yeah, I didn't want to give up at all. I was like, it's a lot of things involved. It's a lot of emotional aspect, has a lot of financial aspects,
Right.
and a lot of people are praying for me, and a lot of people are having hopes on this swim, and I was not able to give up. And he's like, if you swim with both arms, it's going to take you another 8 to 9 hours to finish the swim. Imagine how many hours it will take you with one arm.
Yeah. So I think it's better to come back some other day.
Exactly. So he's like, it's enough is enough. Get out of the water. And I got out of the water, and I couldn't feel my arm for next 2 days. And
Oh my God.
yeah, but you live to fight another day. So yeah, it was one of the experience. Open water swimming is all about uncertainty.
Yeah.
Anything can happen any moment. Yeah.
Amazing story. I think this story you can tell to your grandchildren even. Wow. So, rolling back a little, can you also tell us about your childhood, how it all started, the
Right.
swimming part?
So, as a kid, I had asthma at start.
Asthma.
Yeah. So doctor suggested us to swim actually, and they suggested me to swim, and I was like, I was very young, and my family my father works in Bharat Petroleum, so they have this club swimming pool in Chembur. So we used to go weekends just to have fun and play, and I used to go there like every other kid. But my only motivation to go there was the omelette pav we used to get in the canteen over there. So they used to bribe me with the omelette pav, and that's what used to make me like, okay, I'll come for the swim. So my motivation to start swimming was the omelette
Omelette
pav.
pav.
And I still go there. I still have that actually. So we used to go every weekends, and
Alright.
then after a couple of years, I think it must be when I was be around 5th or 4th standard. I think earlier than that. And there was this Mission 2010 in Nehru Gymkhana. So this concept it was a really great initiative by Nehru Gymkhana, where they were adopting in the sense like for sports.
Right.
So they were picking kids from multiple battery tests and selecting them for various sport. And I was selected in football at first.
Oh, okay.
And the thing they used to do is they used to sponsor everything, from the coaches to the kid to everything. So which is, I don't think anyone does it till date. It's very rare to work on the foundation, but people work on the people who have already achieved.
Right.
But no one works on the foundation, on the base. So this was a very rare, that too back in 2004, I guess, 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the Mission 2010 started in
2004, and yes, and the Mission 2010 was, I think, 2005 or 6, if I'm not wrong. And the Mission 2010 was to build athletes for 2010 Commonwealth Games. And I was one of the players in football, but the kids were elder to me, 2-3 years elder to me. And at that age, 2-3 years elder means a huge gap.
Huge gap.
Yeah, and it was the entire team. I was not fitting in the team. So they asked me, which other sport do you play?
Right.
So I was like, I play, I can swim, and that too from the swims I used to do in the club. Like, okay, then we'll put you in the swimming. And that's how kind of in a way professionally the swimming started for me. Not professionally, but yeah, I got a proper path.
Right.
And my dad was one of the founder members in Gymkhana, and he was in the committee for the 2010 this thing initiative, and it started off well, and then I was a very average, you can say, or kind of, yeah, average would be the right word, a very average swimmer. I wasn't a really fast swimmer or really great swimmer, and nothing like I had genetics in me that to become a great swimmer. And I used to just go every day. It used to be fun. It used to be a life away from school. So every day school, and then evening I had this another life in swimming pool where I used to get to explore myself. So I started going there, and around 8th or 9th standard, till 8th or 9th standard, I was a kid who was really bad at sports. I was bad at studies. I was not really an artist also. So I was that kid who teacher would usually call good for nothing. And somewhere around 8th or 9th standard, they discovered after the movie Tare Zameen Par that I had dyslexia and dysgraphia.
Oh.
And ADHD also. So we saw the movie, and my mom and dad were like, oh, there is something known as this dyslexia or dysgraphia. We have to do the test. We did the test, and around 9th standard we came to know that I had dyslexia and dysgraphia.
Wow.
And we started to work on it.
Then it might have connected back that why you were not able to perform.
Exactly. So it was like it's a very controversial thing, dyslexia, learning disability in general.
Right.
But because it's not necessary that a dyslexic child cannot score well. Because I know some kids who are dyslexic, who are clinically dyslexic, and who have scored 95% in 10th, and it does affect and it doesn't affect.
So it's like a spectrum
Yes,
disorder, right?
yes,
So some
yes.
people have some other things.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And for me, it was affecting my studies, and it was affecting my sports also, because it was lack of communication. It was lack of understanding and expressing. So whenever coach used to tell me something, I had lack of understanding and lack of expressing myself. So that's how I was, average or below average kid. But once we came to know the problem, we started to work on it. And we started to work on it, and we started to do a lot of counseling. I started to go to IPH, Institute of Psychological Health, where till date I go there, and for sports counseling. Yeah, first I used to go there for my study counseling, and then we discovered that they have sports counseling too. So my dad was like, oh, I think you should visit that too.
Yeah.
And that's when we were introduced to Dr. Anand Nadkani, who runs the foundation. And that really was a turning point in my life. And after that, boom, it was like
Your life was changed.
life was changed. Yeah, I started to get medals. I started really swimming really well.
So that was the similar time when you drifted towards swimming.
Yes. And that was the time I was already swimming, but that was the time when I was like, okay, now
This is the path.
I'm loving this. Yeah. I'm liking
started
this now.
enjoying
Yes,
it.
yes. I already enjoyed it, but now I'm enjoying. I like enjoying winning also.
Yeah.
So this is
That
fun.
matters.
Yeah, that also matters at time.
Yeah.
And yes, I started to get that competitive nature in me. I'm still not very competitive person, but yeah, they started to develop slowly. And yeah, that's how my swimming journey began in general.
Wow.
Yeah.
So from a dyslexic child,
Yes.
you got into counseling, and then
Yes.
you finally shot it off on your path to swim.
Yes.
Right.
And yeah, till date I go to my sports counselor, because sometimes, yes, you need to have someone else's perspective also in life.
Right.
And the sports counselor really helped me a lot. Yeah, Dr. like Shubhangi ma'am has been with me like most of my swimming career.
Almost last decade, probably.
Yes.
I think in Indian society specifically, there is a lot of stigma around mental health.
Yes.
I mean, this is part of mental health. I recently wrote an article also about that. So, I also have some close friends who were like in rehabilitation because they had some like severe OCD cases
Okay.
and ADHD. And I also have one friend, she's named as Sayuri Dalvi, and her child is also having ADHD related spectrum disorder.
Right.
So I got to learn very much about dyslexia and ADHD and the spectrum disorders from her. And she still organizes every year one run which is called Autism Run. So
Oh yes,
yeah.
yes. On in the Autism Awareness Month.
Yes,
yes. I've
yes.
heard about that.
So
yes.
we every year we run
Right,
that,
right,
and that's how we got to know about this. I was not aware what exactly
okay,
this
okay,
spectrum
okay.
disorder is.
Right.
So from there I got to know, and I think there is a lot of stigma when even you open up about it with the friends and family.
Yeah.
So they don't understand what is
Exactly. It's still been, it's like a taboo in society
Taboo,
till
yeah.
date.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
after so much of awareness, like parents are not ready to open up about their child having
Yeah.
something like this. For me, my parents were really vocal about it, and at the same time, they never made me feel outcasted. Also,
Yeah, that's more important.
yeah, they never made me feel like, oh, I have something. They were like, it was like the moment they came to know, the moment counseling started, nothing really directly changed. Everything was normal for me.
Yeah.
I never felt something happened, something revolutionary happened. It all was very smooth. It was like, if I do something wrong, डांट पड़ती थी मुझे भी. Like I have literally forgotten an entire guitar, like a huge ass guitar in my bus.
Wow.
So I used to be all over the place, and yeah, I have done certain mistakes. So I was treated as a normal child.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
I
that's
think kids with these disorders, they need more attention, and that's what they should get.
Yeah,
without the stigma and the
Yes,
taboo
yes.
from the society, and more importantly the family, I think.
yes, that's true. That's
Right.
true.
So, coming back to your swimming career, so what was your first ever open water swim?
So, my first ever open water swim was in Ratnagiri. So, it was first time me getting in the water. And my first ever ultra long distance open water swimming was something else. The Ratnagiri one was kind of an eye opener for everyone.
Like, what is it, the open water?
So, it was, I think, I'm not sure it was the first time they were hosting it or not. But I was in the open water for the first time.
So it was an event?
Yeah, it was a race. It was a proper race. And it was, I think, 5 kilometer race.
It was in a canal or something?
Yeah, you can say that. It was a canal or river. It's a very blur. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was canal or river.
Yeah.
But it was like 6 kilometers. You have to swim. And there are like 40-50 participants at one go. And believe me, open water racing are brutal. It's brutal. It's completely like a war. People are hitting each other. People are pulling their legs. I was completely unaware of this. We jump in and it's like imagine it's a small starting point where there are 40-50 huge men just standing in line just to rip apart each other, and there's this little kid standing in between them, like doing his first open water swim.
You were of what age back then?
I think I was 16 or 15. Yeah, I guess 15. And people just rammed me. They just started to push me off and just swam. And I was scared to dive also because they were diving over people.
Oh my god.
And we just rushed into the swim. And this was it caught me by surprise that I came sixth.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, that's an achievement. And it was an amazing time we had in Ratnagiri. Loved the swim, and it was very smooth and very. I love the feeling of being in the open water. And then my first open water ultra long swim was Dharamtar to Gateway.
Dharamtar to Gateway
Yes.
of India.
Dharamtar is somewhere near Alibag. And
So from Alibag to
yeah, you
Bombay.
can say that, yes. And it was a 35-kilometer swim. It varies.
It was back in 2014, if I'm
Yes,
not wrong.
that's right. 2014 January. And that swim, we were attempting that swim. It's kind of a legendary swim, you can say. Every person who has swum the English Channel has done that swim.
Like a practice run.
Yeah, like a practice run. Yeah, it's like the same distance. Open water, we get that feel of open water. We get a training, long training, which is very difficult in swimming pools. So I have that swimming pool ultra long also, but it's insane. It's fatigue, mental fatigue is crazy. But this is also next level. and we start on the swim. The swim was, I was extremely, what do you call it, my physical fitness was at its peak. Yeah, and you can imagine 2014, I was an 18-year-old kid, peak at my physical fitness, having trained, and literally swam, I think, from 10 p.m., I think 9 or 10 p.m. till morning 6 a.m. continuously at night in swimming pool training for this swim.
Wow.
In Thane.
That's some dedication.
It was insane day, and it's like it was a swimming pool, and I was not supposed to swim up and down. I was swimming around the swimming pool, every corner. Then I didn't have to turn, I don't have to stop.
Yeah, so you are continuously able to round it
Yeah,
up.
yes, without stopping. And I was like, okay, this is something new, but we did that swim, and that swim was good training for me. After I went for Toronto to Gateway, we started to swim around, I guess, 3 a.m. So it started off with a good pace, crazy fast. Everyone was like, this is gonna be a record swim, this will be the fastest Toronto Gateway ever. And I am on my like full spree, I'm like going in, like digging it in, head down, just swimming left, right, 2 hours in, 2.5 hours in, getting my feet. Everyone is happy, and the thing is, imagine it's like a meditation.
Yeah.
Swimming is kind of a meditation where you're not talking to anyone, you're not listening to anyone, you're with yourself, and you are breathing in and out. What is meditation? Doing like
It's
meditation in a way, right? And I could sense everything. So at meditation, your senses kind of
They heighten up.
yes, exactly, and you can sense everything that's happening around you. I could sense the positivity on the boat. There were so many people on the boat. We had two big boats booked, and my entire family was there.
Yeah, I've seen that photo.
Yeah, I also seen that photo. My buas and everyone were there, and it was a great feeling. That's when I realized that so many people are like there for me.
Yeah.
And we started the swim at around, I think, 3 a.m. The swim goes 2.5 hours in, and daylight comes out, and around 3 hours, 3 hours 30 minutes, the other boat goes away to take the food or something from the coast, and they had prepared everything. So they went, they drifted apart, and that was a boat with navigation system on it. The moment that got out, and they started to like it was fog everywhere.
Oh.
It was completely full of fog. We were swimming, and
Just because the navigation system, you were able to go on the right path.
it's actually the pilots they're really old. The main pilot was really old, and he's really one of the senior most pilot around. He knows the water in and out. Like he knows every single location in that area.
Yeah.
So he's that confident. And the moment the fog hit it, like we go by the coast, right? So we know the person knows where we are. But the moment the fog hit us, we were blind. We were completely blind.
Yeah.
So was the other boat blind because they couldn't spot us.
Yeah.
We were able to make calls, but they were not able to spot us.
And it's early in the morning at the
Yeah,
dawn.
exactly. And we end up going near the refinery rig, the oil rig inside. Once you go from Gateway,
Yeah, we can see it.
yes. So we ended up over there. We were supposed to go over here to the Gateway of India. We went the other way around.
Off the coast.
Yes, completely off the course. Fine. And that's when I could sense the tension on the boat. Like I said earlier, your senses kind of elevate and you kind of start to realize what's happening around. Yeah. And what are people going through, and people are worried. They were worried that where are we? And my father was the only one who was like headstrong. He's always been that kind of a person where he'll be the confident one on the boat, and he has his head in the game completely. So he was like, come on, don't worry, this and that. And I was swimming, but I could sense that fear in the boat, and I knew something was wrong, and I knew I'm off the record. We never aimed the record, but
it was good to have.
Good to have, yes. Something it was not beaten for years and years, and we went off the course. Then somehow we managed to find the location, and it rained.
It rained?
It rained on 21st January.
Wow.
how can it rain on 21st January? It was like something insane, and people were already at the gateway who were waiting for us. There was, I think, more than 100 people waiting on the gateway of India
welcome you.
Yeah, to welcome me. My college was there. People from my dad's office were there, and police were there because we have to take coastal permission and
Right.
everything, and everyone wanted to see the swim. So,
So you have to get the permission from the
Yes.
mayor of the city.
I'm not sure, but I think we need to get permission of Coast Guards, Navy,
And BMC,
and no, not BMC,
it doesn't come under that.
BPT,
purview.
Bombay Port Trust.
Bombay Port Trust.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Yeah, and everyone was there, and it was amazing. And somehow I managed to finish that swim. On this part, like the swim kind of made me realize that the mental fatigue in this swim is insane because the water is so salty because of the pollution. It's like something you can't imagine.
So around the gateway, it must be.
It's
very
worse. It's anyway. It's bad at the start itself because it's all murky. If you imagine you're in the water and you keep your arm this close to your face, still you won't be able to see your palm.
That's that muddy.
Yes, and it's my nose are filled with it. My ears are filled with it,
Oh my god.
and you can't think about that at that
Yeah.
point. I finished the swim off, and there were so many people to receive me. It was a great feeling, but that made me really strong for my English channel and other swims because that mental fatigue was insane, and that made me really strong mentally because we were not knowing where we are going. I don't think that's kind of possible that's not possible in English channel. It won't be a point where we won't be knowing where we are going.
Right.
It would either that I'll make it or I'll not make it. It won't be like, oh, we are lost.
We are lost.
So it
Because
was
there
good
is a
thing.
lot of support and
Yeah.
the course is clean.
Yeah.
Then it's
Exactly.
India.
And we faced a lot of dolphins.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
In India.
Yes.
Dharmtar to.
Yes. Yes.
Mumbai.
So
Oh my
it started raining, right? And this dolphins started popping. I didn't see any dolphins around me,
Yeah.
but the people on the boat saw dolphins. I think they have videos also.
Wow.
Yeah. It was surprised. I was like, wait, what? I wasn't knowing there are dolphins over here. But yeah.
The good vibe.
Yes, yes. And yeah, so that's how my first open water swim was, like the ultra long distance. Yeah.
Yes, but the experience in India, as you described, there is a
Yeah.
lot of plastic in the
Mm.
waters and a lot of dirt, and the
Yes.
water is basically not clean as it's in the
It's
outside countries, right?
yes, it's very polluted. It's very muddy. At the end of the gateway, believe me, when I was finishing the swim, it got so worse that I could smell people taking showers on the boats around.
Oh my god.
And I could smell people doing their after shower thing. Like
Yeah.
it's just stinking.
Unspeakable things.
Yes, yes, it was just stinking, and you could see the layer of oil while swimming,
Oh.
and yeah, it was that bad. After the swim, I don't think I was able to eat properly for a week.
Wow.
My throat was completely swollen.
Swollen.
I couldn't swallow anything solid.
Because of the water and the dirt and
Yeah, no matter how much you try to not gulp in water while swimming, yes, you do gulp in a lot of water.
yeah, of course. All right. And so, coming back to your childhood, so can you tell a little more about your academics? So, in which directions your academics went? Because you had a thriving career of like
Right,
swimming.
right,
so,
right.
how did you manage to
So
pass through the academic hurdles?
So I was very fortunate to have a good support system, like my family and like the colleges I was in. They were really supportive towards my academics and my swimming actually. So I purposely took admission in Tevna Junior College, where my principal was Hina Samani ma'am, and till date she has been a driving force in my entire journey.
Path.
Yeah, and I was allowed to miss lectures, but she used to make sure that I have been taught after school by the
Oh,
teachers.
wow.
Yes, and that was, like I told you earlier, that was a turning point in my life when I was being detected. Things started changing after 10th. And
After counseling.
yeah, after counseling, then 11th, 12th happened with Hina ma'am, and Hina ma'am was super supportive towards this. And after that, also we had one more principal in my degree college, her name was Dao ma'am. and she's no more. She passed away in my second year, but she was super supportive, and she she also was really a major driving force in my degree college days, and I did my science. I did 12th science. Then I went for BMS, and yeah, I've done my BMS now.
So as of now, you have done BMS
Yes,
and
yes, yeah.
swimming professionally.
Yeah, and I've been doing a lot of talking, and I've been doing a lot of I've been spreading a lot of awareness about learning disability and all the major major disabilities people can have and how you can face that. It's like what my English Channel swim, my Gibraltar swim, all my swims are basically dedicated to kids suffering from learning disability. And it's just to spread out a message that if I can do it, if a kid like me can do it, so can you.
Yeah.
I was completely hopeless, and when I was like, if I can emerge from that and do something big, so can your kid or so can you do it. So that's a very simple message I'm trying to put out there in the world, and like every child is special. You need to identify what he's good at and work on
Right.
it. So that's what I have been doing right now.
Yeah, I think the main part is the support which you get as
Yeah.
these child which are like suffering from this disorder.
Yes.
And the path, like you should be able to try out different paths
Yes, yes.
and choose like where you are good at.
Exactly. If I was having, if my parents were having orthodox mentality, even in sports, I wouldn't have really deflected towards open water swimming. It's very important to have an open mind and trying new things,
Right.
and that's what I try to tell out there. That
Yeah.
try to find what's best for you. Yeah.
Great. And as you are one of the youngest male swimmers in the world who have crossed English Channel, so what was your experience like while doing that? I think it was back in
2014.
2014
Yeah.
itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was the youngest male swimmer in 2014. And it's not like I was youngest male swimmer till date. I was just in
Yeah,
2014, yeah.
Of course.
So that it was a very different experience, and it's very controversial also. So I was there for 2 months.
2 months.
Yes, I went before time, like I before my swim.
Yeah, just to cut you a little, just to give the context to the audience, can you talk a little more about what exactly is that swim, the English
Yes,
Channel, which
yes,
is like
yes.
very important for
Yes,
every
yes.
open water swimmer?
Yes. So English Channel is a swim from England to France.
England to France.
Yes. It starts from Folkestone to Calais. Either it starts from Dover to Calais or Folkestone to Calais. Depends on where your boat starts from. And it's a swim with a completely unpredictable weather conditions.
Oh,
No matter what your forecast is, it will surprise you. Believe me, it will surprise you while you swim, because it can't be predicted. And if you ever speak to any of the sailors, they will tell you the real English Channel, because they face it every other day, and it's one of the busiest shipping lane in the world.
oh,
So there are massive tankers going across every now and then, and the swim is extremely difficult because of its uncertain climatic weather changes
correct.
and the temperature. The water temperature can differ. It can go from 13 degrees Celsius to somewhere around, I don't know, at times it goes to 9, but there are all cold spots in between.
So it drops to a
Yeah,
lot.
it drops crazy in between because the ice is still melting and everything. And either it can, if you're having a good day, it can go to 14, 15. And
It's like a pleasant water condition.
it's still not pleasant.
Still not pleasant.
Yeah, 14, 15 is good enough to put you in hypothermia.
Oh,
Yes, yeah, it depends from body to body, believe me. 14, 15 is good enough for a hypothermia.
wow.
And yeah, hypothermia is one of the major danger
In open water
water swims. Yeah, lot of jellyfishes, and the tough part about the swim, and the most trickiest part about the swim is the race starts at the end. The real deal begins at the end, because you start off good, you have current, so it's a cross current. So water is coming from here, water is coming from here, and the current goes like this, up and down and up and down. So you don't swim the 35 kilometers. You swim up, down, up, and you finish the point. So it goes on a 40, 50, depends on
Wow.
what chart you make.
Depends on the waves.
Yeah, completely depends on the waves. And like I said, the race starts at the end is because you go up, down, and you follow your graph, your pilot, whatever call he takes. During the end, there is a cross current. At the end, if you are able to manage to pass that, you won. But imagine swimming for 12 hours. Depends on swimmer to swimmer. Some swimmers take 20 hours to finish that swim. Some swimmers take 9 to 10 hours to finish that swim. Depending on a good day or bad day also. Imagine swimming for that many hours, and at the end, the current picks up. It's very difficult at the end of the swim. So if you make that, you are a winner.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
similar to marathons, like in running.
Yes,
so the
exactly.
last mile is the most important.
Yes. So you basically swim against the current at the end.
Wow.
And it's completely pushing you off. And if you go any further off, and it goes back. Many of the times the current goes back in the channel, and if you're in a shipping lane, the pilot might call the swim off. I've seen swimmers go straight, and slowly the current picks up, and the person is going back.
Wow.
It's going like this and
back.
drifting back to the shipping lane.
Oh my god.
Imagine the feeling of swimming for 16 to 17 hours and then drifting back. It's insane.
And then swim being called off.
Yes,
probably
yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, 90% of the times the swim will be called off.
How did you get through that?
So, like I said, I was there for 2 months. I was training every other day. And first, I remember getting in the water the first day. It was 7 minutes in the water. Max I could do.
Wow.
The day I land, the day I start swimming, 7 minutes.
So you were doing some acclimatization there.
Yeah, my we call it what we call swimmer's claw. So where arms go like this, hands go like this because of frozen fingers.
Frozen
And,
fingers.
yeah, and your face starts hurting, your body's hurting. Imagine there are needles all over your body. It's that cold. And after the first day, I went back home. I tried to process it, and I was talking to my mom, and we didn't really speak about how was the water. I was like, it's okay, I can manage. Second day, I again go, I swim for 15 minutes. Third day, I go, I swim for 30 minutes. Fourth day, I go, I swim for 1 hour. And then again, I drop it down, taper it down till Saturday, and Sunday, I recover. Again, next week, I start from 45 minutes. Second day, I go for 1 hour, 1 hour 30 minutes, 2 hours, and then again drop it down. I remember the last long training session I did before the swim. I think it was 1 week away from my
Actual swim.
I did, I think 2 weeks away. I did 4 hours first day on Monday. I did 5 hours on Tuesday. I did 8 hours on Wednesday. Then I again came down to 5 hours on Thursday, 4 hours, 2 hours, and Sunday easy. So that was my training schedule for a week that day. And I was that okay with the water because every day I had to push a little. Slow progress, but a good progress.
Yeah.
It was making me more comfortable with the water. And everyone had this question mark that he's such a skinny kid. I was a very skinny 18-year-old kid. It was difficult for me to put on a lot of fat, and I was not really okay with putting on a lot of fat. I was like, I think I can acclimatize with this physique also. Yeah. And I was comfortable with the water by then. And I was able to generate that, what we call heat.
Heat and energy.
Yes. So when the swimming day came, we were waiting for 2 weeks and we get the slot. So English Channel is all about the slots. It's like you get 7 days, and luckily I was the only swimmer in my slot. And the swimmer earlier to me had to call off because of some shoulder injury. That's very common amongst open water swimmers.
Yeah.
So we had to call off. Then I got 2 weeks in front of me, and we selected the best day. The pilot selected the best day, and I think there were 12 swimmers out that day, and everyone was expecting a good weather. Everyone knew that according to forecast and according to the current conditions, first 2 hours is going to be really brutal. The waves are going to be around 5 meters or something, and after that it's going to be a very smooth sail after 2 hours. So I was like, okay, I can manage that first 2 hours and then everything will be fine. And we start off the swim with the bad conditions. I'm swimming, and 2 hours in, I had an injury on my right hamstring while training. Around 8 hours, when I was doing 8 hours swim, I had some injury on my hamstring where my hamstring tendon was ruptured. So we came to know that it was ruptured later
It was
on.
ruptured.
Yes, we came to know that later on, but back then, something is wrong with my leg. That's all I knew.
That's all you know.
I was having trouble walking, and I knew that I have to do swim on a painkiller. That was for sure. And we start the swim, 1 hour in, crazy water just hitting me on and off. I had a painkiller. 2 hours in, it's still manageable. Now I was like they told me, 2 hours and then the weather gets better.
Yeah.
Weather is not getting better. 2 hours 30 minutes in, 3 hours in, and that's when my hamstring just is not working. The pain
kicked in.
Yes, the pain kicked in. The painkiller wore off, and the pain was so immense that it just was not working at all. So I was not kicking with my right leg, and I was just swimming with my arms, and my left leg was just flicking, just one kick. And 4 hours in the water, weather is getting worse at this point. Like I was like that point, I had to make my mind that okay, this is the weather I'll have to swim in, and I cannot think of having a good weather now, and just make a peace with it and start swimming. Just
Right.
not think about this. What worse can it get? It can't get worse than this. I'll just swim with it. So swimming, and 5 hours in, and I was taking my feed on fifth hour. While taking the feed, so every hour I was taking feed back then. And my dad passes me a bottle. I get the bottle, I drink or I eat, and then I throw it back. At this point, I was eating something, I guess. Yeah, I was eating something. I was eating the chocolate, and the waves were it was so turbulent in that point that the board just came onto me, and the propeller hit my left leg.
Oh my god.
It hit hard. At that point, it hit hard, and it just that sensation where it hits so hard that you don't feel it. That it was like that, and I couldn't say this on the boat because one of the rules in the swims are that if you make a contact with the boat, it's a direct disqualification.
Oh.
So I was like,
Zip it.
now. I can't say anything. And my dad realized that my leg is sinking now. But both the legs are not working. I start swimming again. And both the legs are not working. I'm just on my arms.
On your arms.
Around, I think, I was getting hit by jellyfishes from the start, on and off. But at 6th hour, when I was right in between the English Channel, not even in England, not even in France, right in between the shipping lane, there were a hell lot of jellyfishes. And they were just 3-stroke and a shock. 3-stroke, 4-stroke and a shock. The jellyfishes are brutal over there. And it's not lion's mane, but I forgot the breed they have. But it's one of the jellyfish.
Deadliest.
Yeah, not deadliest, but it hurts.
Stings.
Yeah, lucky to have an Indian skin that it doesn't show on me. But if I was someone American,
White
then
skin,
white
it would have
skin,
been
then it would have been all
red,
over the
red,
place. Yes, but I was getting hit on every stroke, and around 10 hours in the water, and I was doing this till 10 hours on my physical strength, and after 10 hours, it was completely like no matter what happens, either I collapse in the water while swimming, or weather is so bad that the pilot has to pull me out. But I'm not gonna say I quit. And I was just swimming, and my dad was asking me, "Are you okay?" At every feed. I think we shot down the feed to 30 minutes from 1 hour because I needed a lot of energy, and he was talking to me. And at this point, I wasn't replying. I was just like thumbs up. I was not talking, and that's when hypothermia was starting to kick in. So hypothermia is like you have to produce energy. You have to produce that heat.
Yeah.
For producing heat, you need that energy.
Right.
For energy, you need like a lot of intake.
Right.
And at that point, my body had zero energy in me. So I was not able to produce the heat. My speed dropped down, and I was just swimming. My arms were going because mentally I was like, I have to finish the swim. And I was slowly going into hypothermia. My eyes were rolling up. I was feeling a little drowsy at this point.
Your mind stops working.
Yeah, it doesn't stop working, but you don't realize what's happening around you. you, you're just go like you feel sleepy at that point.
Consciousness reduces.
Yes, consciousness completely reduced that point. And I think 11 hours in, 12 hours in, and I think around 11:30 I was at that point where the cross current comes in.
Oh, that
So,
last mile.
Last mile. That's when it just has to like you have to push the gear. And I could see the finish, but this was the biggest tip for anyone who's going for English channel. That's like you'll never see the finish point. You never lift your head and never see where you're swimming because it's a complete mirage. It's like it will feel like it's in a kilometer or two, but you'll be at the start of the swim. It looks that close.
Wow.
You see the white cliffs from the start of the swim. So never see it. It will always make you feel that you're close, but why is it not coming?
The mirage feeling.
Yes, that mirage feeling. So I knew that I don't have to see up. So I was
Yeah.
just keeping my head down, just swimming, and slowly going unconscious. And I was like, shit, I have to finish this swim. I'm so close, but I don't want to faint also at this point. And then the pilot stops me, and the pilot goes like, my bag. I had this plastic bag, and he's like, take this. You have to go and collect the stand. You're gonna stop over here. And
So you finished it?
You're very close to the swim. I'm not finished it yet.
Uh-huh.
I'm a kilometer away from the finish.
Ah.
It's like the boat can't go there because of the rocks. And I was like, I'm not in my sense. I'm like, okay. And I'm really like, I'm not sure that whether I'll be able to finish it at this point because I am really going unconscious. I take my feet, I start pushing it, and somehow at 12 hours 42 minutes, I finish off the swim and manage to stand up with both the legs not working.
Wow.
And yeah, that was one of the biggest
The biggest
first of my biggest achievements and the toughest thing in my life I have ever done.
and the most emotional
Yeah,
point, I think.
emotionally, yes, I was very much attached to that swim. My dad, I think we were talking about this yesterday itself. We were just sitting on dinner, we were just talking, and he's like, I can't imagine what we went through and how we did that swim. It just gives me goosebumps. Like, Dad is like, it just gives me goosebumps.
Listening to you is giving
Yeah.
me goosebumps.
So during the swim, the only person who was standstill was my father and was my pilot and his assistant. My mother was puking because it was so turbulent that she was just puking. My sister was completely puking. My sister was in the stage of being unconscious because she had no food in her stomach, but she was puking. It's like she was puking all the acid out. Like there was nothing there in the stomach to puke.
Right.
She was drinking water, she's puking. The observer of the swim himself was puking.
Oh my
As
god.
once or twice he puked right in front of me. I could see him puke in the water. Like, oh shit.
And then how you cannot puke
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly. And yeah, that was one of the really tough challenges. But swim was done, and I really put in a lot of my efforts in that swim. After coming out of the water, I'm so connected to food. I tell you, like, I got out of the water, and I'm like completely. If you see my English channel video, it's like my hands are not getting up to lift the flag. My hands are so tired, they're just falling off again and again. And I lift my hands up, do everything, and then I sit down, and I asked my dad like, oh, okay, so I need something from you now. So dad is like scared now, like kya mangega ye abhi? He's done something big. He'll obviously ask for something big, and I just go like, once I go to India, I want to have the chicken lollipop from Hyderabad. He's like, oh god,
Wow.
he keeps telling on that story to everyone.
The small things are so big.
Yes. So that's how I really connect to food. From
Wow.
omelette pav to chicken
Omelette
lollipop.
pav
Yes.
and the chicken lollipops.
Yes.
Wow. So you have done all these marathon swims, big swims and ultra swims. So which one was the most beautiful experience and which one was the most deadliest experience where you faced something very deadly?
So I'll start with deadliest swim. I was swimming the North Channel from England to France, and sorry, not from England to France. It was from Ireland to Scotland.
Yeah.
It's right above the English Channel.
Okay.
So right above the English Channel means much colder, and they have lion's mane around. So lion's mane is a kind of jellyfish. It's one of the species of jellyfish that are very, very. They hurt a lot, believe me, than the normal jellyfish. They hurt
Lion's
very-
mane.
Yeah, lion's mane. People fear them. Open water swimmers fear them, and I was there for a while, and I did a lot of races in Ireland. I won a lot of open water races in Ireland, and after that I started off the swim. Me and there was another swimmer called Attila.
Attila.
Yeah, Attila, and he is a swimmer from Hungary. We didn't really have a good day. We knew that we were second swimmers in our slot, so every swimmer has 2 to 3 swimmers. Every slot has 2 to 3 swimmers.
Okay.
We both were second swimmers in our slot, and we got the second best day. So in the entire day, which was not really good, but we had no option. I had my flight to catch. He had his flight to catch. We were there for months. Even he was there to acclimatize, and we start off our swim. And what happened was, we both. I'm not very competitive, but in a way, yes. I am little competitive.
Competitive.
Yeah,
You
there
have
was
to
a-
be.
Yeah, I have to be at some point. Sportsmen have to be a little competitive. But this sport is completely non-competitive sport. You're swimming alone.
Yeah.
And Attila and me started to swim together. Now Attila is a world record holder for Molokai Channel, the channel in Hawaii, and he is one of the fastest to ever do this swim. Crazy fast, crazy fast. That timing is something which is, you can say, unbeatable.
Wow.
And we have trained together, and I was like, wow, it would be fun to swim with him, and I would give him a tough fight. Like, I knew, like, why not? What's the harm in trying?
Yeah.
So we start off the swim together. He has his own boat. I have my own boat, and we just start off the swim. We know the weather is not going to be very pleasant, but we have to do work with what we have. And the weather was very brutal. But at this point, my head was like looking at Attila, and it's like I forgot about the weather and everything. I was just pushing it, and he was also pushing it, and we were just swimming close by together, and we were just further apart, but I could see his boat, he could see my boat. We couldn't like actually see each
Visually
other.
see each other.
Yeah, but we know
through
where
the
we are.
boats
Yeah.
where you were.
So we swim first hour, we swim second hour, we swim third hour, and we are just kicking it in, and I think around 6 hours in, and there were a lot of linesmen around. Lot of linesmen, they were just hitting, and I couldn't, stinging. I couldn't dodge them also, and I think somewhere around sixth or seventh hour, I could see him just little bit drift apart, and he was just going behind, and I was like, oh, that's unusual. At this point, I haven't seen sun yet. Like, it was surprising. Day has already started a long ago. We started swim around 6 a.m. I guess, or further before that, I think 5 a.m. or something. And I haven't seen sun. It was a grey sky that day, and in cold water swims, a sun plays a very important role. A heat on your back gives the warmth. It always gives the warmth. It's an amazing feeling. I've been in cold water, but when there is no sun, there's cold winds blowing. It's pathetic day. It's pathetic, and we were just swimming it in, and I didn't really keep any reserves. I was pushing it and
Going all out.
going all out. Why not? It was like that mentality. Why not? And I see Attila go slowly behind, and around seventh hour, I couldn't see him at all. He's further way behind. Around 7 or 30 minutes, I see a chopper fly by. A ambulance chopper fly by above us. And around 8th hour, while I was speeding, I came to know that Attila was picked up because of hypothermia.
Oh,
He
got
was
hypothermia.
Yeah, he was completely unconscious. They had to flew him to Scotland, and we were swimming completely off the like against the current and everything. Obvious, like energy must have gone. Hypothermia must have kicked in. It's colder than the English Channel. It's insane kind of efforts, and I was like, okay, that's something I didn't expect, but I'll keep on doing my swim. I had on my boat, I had the pilot. My parents were not there for the swim because I preferred going alone because it's a lot of one more person if is added in the team. it adds additional cost.
Right.
So the budget goes twice.
So it was the first time you went without them?
Yes, it was the first swim I went without them,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the observer who was really close to me, and he I was there at his house also for a while, and we great guy. And he was the head observer of Irish Long Distance Swimming Association. His
Wow.
name was Gary,
Mm-hmm.
and the crew was someone I met just a week before.
Okay.
And she was also an amazing lady, captain of Irish water polo team, and she was also attempting a North Channel in after a few weeks, and as a relay, their team was doing a North Channel, so they were my great crew member. They were supporting me. After 12 hours, I think 11 hours, my energy started dropping. I was not knowing where I am. It's like I told you during the English channel, how it kicks in. It's
Signs of hypothermia.
Yeah, and these signs were crazy. My back was blue. One of the signs of back goes blue. Your lips goes blue,
Oh.
and you don't really respond to anything people say, and it's very difficult to have a conversation at all. You just don't
You start
understand.
blabbering or something.
Blabbering, yes, blabbering is one of the major signs. And I think it was 13 hours in the water, 12 hours 40 minutes when Gary jumped in the water. I'm saying this like this because for me, I was not in my senses, but I remember someone jumping in. It was Gary, and he was swimming next to me, and my stroke rate dropped to a level where I wasn't moving. My arms were moving, I wasn't moving, and Gary is next to me. Gary has to literally do breaststroke to stay with me. He can't swim because he's one pool and he goes ahead. So one of the rules for someone pacing is like you can't go further away from him.
Right.
Like you can't be ahead of him. That's pacing. You have to be behind him or with the swimmer.
Right.
He can't touch
Otherwise,
me.
it's a lead kind of thing.
Yes. And Gary is not officially allowed to get in the water, but he saw the symptoms in me of hypothermia, and he wanted to make sure that I'm okay because.
That's where the experience comes.
Yes,
in,
exactly. That's where the experience comes in. And around 13 hours, it just had in me like I have to see where am I right now, and I lift my head up and I see the finished point. I see a lighthouse.
That's what you should not do. The mirage thing, right?
Yes, I literally see the lighthouse. I'll see the finish, everything, and blacked out.
Whoa.
Completely blacked out, and
So you started going down.
so I don't remember anything.
Oh, you went unconscious.
Yes, I was completely unconscious. So what happened was what I was explained was Gary was asking me my name once I lifted my head up and I was floating, and I wasn't replying. And I remember listening to him asking me my name, but I was not able to give him back to him. Like response was not there, and it's like I was not really like I know my name. I'm having trouble telling him my name now. I know my name is Shubham, but why am I not able to tell him? And I suddenly sinked in. In fractions of a second, and he just grabbed me by my arm, and he just somehow managed to pull me out, because once you're gone in that sea, it's impossible to
very deep.
It's very deep, yeah. It will just take you away. It's not possible to find a body.
Almost on the brink of going down.
I was very lucky that day, and they pulled me out. I think another 30 minutes and I would have finished the swim. And I woke up.
Just at the front of the victory, and you go down.
Yes. It was a very brutal day, and I was pulled out of water, and I was shivering. My body was gaining heat. Unlike Attila was on.
Your body was unconscious and you were shivering.
Yes.
Wow.
Because body was trying to generate heat. Shivering is kind of generating heat, and that's why they didn't call in emergency chopper or anything. Attila wasn't shivering.
Oh.
Yes.
So he was cold.
He is completely cold. He was pale. Like he was pulled out. He needed emergency care.
So your drivers and the crew must have been experienced to know.
So Brian is the first guy to start the North Channel. He's one of the first guys. He's very old, and he looked after me like a father when I was in Ireland. And so we did try to go again for the swim, and Ruth, who I met a week ago, she asked me to stay with her for a month, and we were like, she was like, don't have to worry about the cost.
Observer, you said.
No, my crew member.
The crew member. Okay.
Yeah, she was like, you can stay with me, you can train, and we'll try again. And My family was really panicking over here.
Wow, nobody was there,
Yes,
and
nobody was there. Something like this happens.
you told me the Facebook feed was going on, right? So,
Yeah, and it stopped.
wow,
And then they get
must
this
be
message.
horrific for them.
It was horrific for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And but I was like, I have to do this again because I knew I have it in me to do it. It's just that we didn't get the time again. Like we didn't get the right climate.
Correct.
There not a single swim happened after like
After that day.
no, actually it happened, but my slot was next month, another slot, and the pilot they wanted me to swim so bad that he was like, please, like you have to do
try
that.
it.
Yeah, it was very close. It was just that it was the worst of the weather I've seen till date. Still, you made it to so far. Like you have it in you to do it, and yeah, I am aiming for that next year now. Yeah.
You are aiming for that next year?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
I have my plans set up. We are looking for sponsorships. We are like really building it up now, and I'm pretty confident about the swim for next year for the North Channel. I'm trying to
That's
get
great.
dates and everything.
Yeah, good luck for that.
Thank you, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but that wasn't the stopping point for me. I did a lot of swims after that. It wasn't like end of the world for me. It was just a new beginning, and I went on for the swims. I
I
did
think
lot of
failures
races.
make you stronger.
Yeah,
and
it
make you a
definitely
better
just
person.
make me strong. Just made me stronger and made me a better swimmer and better human being in general.
Yeah.
It just
Appreciate
Yeah,
life
I was
more.
appreciating life more. I was still a little off like I was earlier. I can still go through that again, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it never stopped me. It never put that doubt in me. I was always like, yes, I don't mind risking it all again, and yeah, so it never was like a descending point for me in my life. It was just uphill from there
Right.
also.
And which was the most serene or beautiful swim which you did in
So-
your entire career as of now?
So believe me, all the swims are pretty.
All the swims
Are pretty. They are pretty. There comes a point where you are just right in between the sea, and you just can't help it to wonder how pretty it is. Imagine being all by yourself in the water, out there in the ocean, and you are just like it's an amazing feeling.
The movie Life of Pi.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. And so something like that happened, and I was swimming Catalina at
Catalina.
night. Yeah, Catalina Channel at night, and it's in the Pacific Ocean from San Catalina Island to the mainland.
Right.
And we started the swim at night, and swim starts at 10 p.m., which is like a complete night swim. We finish in the morning.
Oh.
So most of the time we are spending is at night. And after the start of the swim, there came a point where the weather kind of settled it down, and it was flat for a while. And then I just looked up and I saw everything is black. There's some moonlight. So there's no light on the boat also. There is just glow sticks on the boat everywhere.
Right.
And I couldn't stop really seeing that, and there was bioluminescent planktons all over the place.
They lit up.
They lit up.
Oh, wow.
And it was so
Dreamy
pretty.
scene.
Yes. It was very dreamy. And so there are certain such small things which.
Yeah. From each swim you get
Yeah,
some glimpse
exactly.
of the beauty.
So it's not only about like how rough the open water swim is, but it's very pretty. That's the reason for everyone being so attracted to open water swimming. It's just very addictive to be in that zone of adrenaline and that pretty scenarios, and the community is just amazing.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, you are like going to try to hit that swim again, the North Channel, which you failed,
Yeah.
right? So you said you are going to get sponsorship. So how you plan to get the sponsorships, and what is the process there?
So right now I'm trying to get in touch with MNCs and companies, and in the terms of cross promotion,
Right.
any company which is out there in those areas, we would be promoting that through social media, through our website,
In collaborations.
and there is a cause for this swim. This swim is just not a swim, but there's a cause behind it to spread out a message and to tell out the world. It's possible for everyone to achieve something big like this.
Yeah. Even if you have learning disabilities.
disability or anything,
Yeah.
you can do it. So we are looking forward to sponsorships, and my swim would be next year, and we are working on it from now itself.
Wow, that's amazing. And is there any advice you would like to give the young aspiring swimmers who are trying to make it towards the open water swims? Any bullet points you want to give?
See, not only open water swims, but in any sports, once you are entering, you have to have a lot of patience. Believe me, I'm a kid who kind of didn't have any medals for first 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I was a kid who used to just have a participation certificate. All this thing you see, it was nothing. There used to be just participation certificates in my folder, and I was happy with that.
Yeah.
And so there has to be a lot of patience. It will click at some point in life. At some point, it will be like that patience will pay off.
Yeah.
So yes, the major thing I can tell all the kids out there that you have to be patient and you have to put in the efforts and grind every day in order to really succeed in life. Me, I personally had I was fortunate enough to have parents who had a lot of patience on me,
Right.
and I was able to sustain for so long. And you will emerge as a hero if you are able to sustain for so long.
Right.
Yeah, this is one of the key factors that every other young swimmer or an athlete needs to keep in mind.
Patience.
Patience is the key.
Is the key.
Yes.
Wow. One bullet point, but still,
Yeah.
that's the total advice you need. So you also hold a Limca book record. So can you tell a little more about that as well?
Yes, that's an insane story. So if you look at the dates, I have swam the English Channel on 4th of August. I swam the Strait of Gibraltar on 14th of August.
Oh wow.
So it's like just a 10 days of gap in between. What happened actually was we swam the English Channel. I was completely destroyed after the English Channel. It's destroyed to a level where I was not able to lift my arms to eat. So my mom was feeding me, and I had troubles getting off the bed or just even like doing things. And
Every limb was destroyed.
every limb was destroyed. Believe me, I was in a terrible condition because I gave everything the body had in me. It was at the verge of just breaking down at that level. So after the swim, we wait for 2 days, and we messaged Rafael on the bail.
Yeah.
We finally successfully finished the swim, and we are ready for the swim. And my date for Gibraltar, the slot was from 20th of August, 18th or 20th of August to 26th, 27th of August. So Gibraltar is very famous for the winds and the crazy currents coming in. So we get a reply back that come to Tarifa before 15th of August.
Oh.
Prepone the tickets and come before 15th of August. And we were like, wait, what? It's not possible. Like 15th of August is not possible. But he was very adamant that because the weather is going crazy. After 15th, there's a huge wind going to come in, which will make the swim near to impossible.
Right.
So please try to come before 15th. We look at our visas, and we see the visa starts on 14th of August. I was like, 14th of August, I have to travel all the way to Spain, and how am I gonna manage the swim on 15th? So
No time to acclimatize.
no time to. So we didn't need acclimatizing because it was little warmer than the English Channel.
Okay.
So I had already done the English Channel, and I was like, we go like, okay, fine, we'll take a call. We traveled all the way from Dover. It took us 10 hours to reach Malaga airport. 10 hours in the sense traveling from the taxi to the flight to Spain, and from Malaga we were supposed to go to Tarifa via taxi. The moment we reached the Malaga airport, we called Rafael, and Rafael asked him where to come. Now we don't have place to stay, but we are booked around I think 3-4 days after that, and for the staying. So we call him, and he's like gives a phone to the cabbie. He gives a phone to the cabbie, and the cabbie gets the address. They speak in Spanish something,
Yeah.
and we are going, and we reach on the docks
Oh.
of the swim. We reach at the starting point of the swim, and we get off from the cab, and he's like, "Chop, we have to go now."
Oh my God.
In
Directly.
in I think in some hours in few hours the weather's gonna turn, the wind is coming in, we can see it on the forecast. You have to start to swim now, or else it will be too like it will be delayed by crazy days.
So many days.
So many days. So we were like, wait, what? I haven't eaten anything for last 10 to 12 hours. I've been
Wow.
traveling, and how am I supposed to do that? At that point, I was really furious, and he's like, "I'll get you anything you need. Tell me, you need water. You need water. I said, just give me banana and water." So he just puts the bag in the boat. He asked me to grease up, so we apply grease on the friction area so that the skin doesn't rub.
To avoid chafing.
Yes, and I was applying grease and I was having a banana, and I'm so furious at that point. And then my dad comes to me and he's like, "So we have a deal over here that you have to either swim the fastest state of Gibraltar, like swim as fast as you can swim and make an Asian record, or finish, and if you don't make an Asian record, we'll swim back. So you'll be the first Asian to ever swim two-way Strait of Gibraltar." I was like, no way I'm swimming back. I'll rather swim
You're already
one
starving.
way. I already started, no way I'm swimming. I'd rather swim as fast as I can and finish off with the Asian record. And so one thing that helped me most was my counseling sessions. So I was being taught to channelize my anger in a constructive way rather than destructive way. There was a perfect example given to me by my counselor, Zinedine Zidane, for the finals of FIFA, and he gave a headbutt. His anger was used in a destructive way. They lost the match.
Right.
Whereas Yuvraj Singh was sledged, or what we call it, like he was being abused or whatever it was, and he gave 6 sixes.
Right.
His anger was used in a constructive way. That had a major impact in my life. And at that point, I was thinking
Stuart
about
Broad,
that.
right?
Yes.
6 sixes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I have to focus this in one direction. And I just put my head down. I started swimming like a madman because that everything just rushed in. I forgot how fatigued I was after the swim. I forgot.
Rush of adrenaline.
Yeah, the rush of adrenaline was next level at that point. I started to swim. I was 1 hour feed that I was like, I used to swim half feed per hour, every hour. I took my first feed very quick, give it back, stretch my arms, start swimming. Second feed, give it back, start swimming. And
So what is the difference between 2 feeds usually?
1 hour.
Hour.
I used to feed on every hour. So depends from the swim to swim. Sometimes I feel like 45
So you don't
minutes.
get dehydrated as soon?
So no, 1 hour is 45 minutes is something which
Because
is
in
recommended.
running usually even every 20 minutes you get
Oh,
have to
okay.
hydrate. So in swimming it's
So
probably
we don't
a little different.
sweat that much
Yeah.
while swimming.
Because you are already
Yes,
in
we are
water.
already in water. So and it's already cold climate. So we don't sweat that much. So
Yeah.
45 minutes to 1 hour is a good time for us. I prefer 1 hour because it prolongs longer.
It's as per your body.
Yes, and so first hour feed, quick feed, start swimming. Second hour, quick feed, start swimming. Third hour, and the record was 3 hours 20 minutes in like I knew it, and it was 3 hours 20 minutes, and I'm wondering why am I not getting feed now? I think I've passed 3 hours now.
Yeah.
And I just stop and like feed. I just say, then dad like, okay, you're not getting any feed now. You are very close to the Asian record. You have to just swim. Feed will waste your time.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Just let me stretch.
Whoa.
I stretch again. I gear up and I just go crazy in. And around 3 hours 16 minutes, I finished the swim and it was an Asian record just by
Wow.
4 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one of the fastest swim I've ever done, but one of the most rewarding swims ever in my life.
And the Tarifa scenery. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's beautiful. Like after the finish, I remember I was just not able. I was not ready to get out because I could see like the laurels and the clownfish and everything underneath. It was very pretty. It was very pretty.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. But that's what the thing is. Like that's what I keep saying, that you don't need the perfect conditions to make it big. You have to do with what you have. You have to do it with all your willpower and you can achieve great. I didn't have any perfect conditions back during my Gibraltar swim, but yet I was able to make an Asian record because I had visualized myself to make an Asian record. I had prepared myself to make an Asian record. I knew it in my head that I have to do it. There is no do and die. It's just do. I have to finish it off,
Yeah.
and that's what
That's
I
what you did.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So before the swims, do you do any visualization practice or something like that to like prepare yourself?
It
for
happens
the...
on every training session.
Mhm.
So every training session, I kind of between the session I imagine how the swim would be,
Yeah.
and I try to avoid negative thoughts because visualization can turn good and bad also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes if you are in a bad mood and you visualize, you try to you can't stop your brain from thinking,
Yeah.
and at times you visualize wrong things. So I try to think less, and I try to when I'm in a good mood I try to visualize more. And usually while swimming, I'm all over the place, believe me. So that makes my swims easier for me because
Yeah, yeah.
I don't focus so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think about the swim so much. Usually it just goes off. Time goes off like this for me because there are always
In a
stories.
snap, you are
In a
at the end
snap,
of the
yeah, yeah, it's like that. I don't realize the time pass by also.
yeah,
After 3-4 hours, I don't realize in what hour I am right now.
yeah. I mean, when you are doing something you love, really love, and
Yeah,
passionate
yeah, yeah.
about, so you
Yeah, but
don't.
honestly, this is from every open water swimmer. After 4th hours, they start hating the swim. They just start hating the swim after 3rd hour, 4th hour.
Your body starts screaming.
Yes, every swimmer at that point screams that why am I doing this? I can just sit and chill in my house. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
But that's the glory of the glory is something which makes us do it
Cut
again
it
and again.
through that.
Yes, yes.
All right. So coming to some personal questions now.
Yeah.
How does your typical day look like in normal days?
It's usually lot of swimming, and so I wake up early in the morning. And right now the schedule is pretty much 5:30 or 5 a.m. wake up and go for swim, 6 a.m. swims.
6 a.m. swims.
Yeah, but I go a little before that so that I can do my some rehab work and
Yeah.
warm up and everything and then get in the water.
Mind preparation.
Not exactly mind preparation. I don't like to rush in the water.
Yeah.
I take my time.
Yeah.
So rather than making my coach wait, then he'll be furious. I go early, take my time, and then get in the water when he asks us to get in the water.
Yeah.
And usually that's how my day starts. After training, I am actually working in a firm for just to get experience in a logistics firm, and we are just working on that. And I go there for 2 hours. After that, I go to the gym. I do my gym work and then get back home, sleep, read some books, and
Just before sleeping, you do
yeah,
the
just
reading.
before
Bedtime
sleeping.
reading.
Yeah, not exactly bedtime. It's more of educational books than the story books. And after that, I evening again 6 o'clock practice, and it sometimes the practice lasts for like 3 hours or 2 hours, mainly 2 to 3 hours. And but when they are long swims, it lasts for long. It goes like 4, 5, 6 hours. But right now it's morning and evening practice, 2-3 hours, 2-3 hours in the evening. Yeah, that's how my typical day is, and lot of food, lot of carbs.
So how do you plan that nutrition part? So is it like you are on some specific diet, or do you just use homely foods? How does your nutrition looks like?
So, believe me when I say I'm an individual sport, I have a huge team. So, my team consists of a psychologist, like I mentioned earlier, Shubhangi ma'am. My team consists of a nutritionist, which is Anuja ma'am, Anuja Patel, and then my team also consists of physiotherapy and physiotherapists, which is Shweta ma'am and Kiran sir and Dr. Kiran, and there it's called physiokinesis.
Physiokinesis.
Yes. And then I have a pathology lab which takes my blood test on and off and to just see if something is what's happening with my body.
Yeah.
If there is some inflammation in the body, if I have some deficiency in vitamins or something like that.
What is physiokinesis?
So physiokinesis is a sports rehab center, a sports physiotherapy center, where they do a lot of things from working on your injuries to making you better. So my shoulder injury, they have been one of the really what we call the force to get it better. So I have major shoulder injuries, and I have to go to them on and off to get it released or get it in. So my scapula gets weakened at times. So we do needling on that to open up.
Needlework.
Yes, and they look after anything like any basic small injuries I have. They are the ones to take care of it. They give me certain exercises, and it's in Thane actually. And so pathology team. So pathology team takes the blood test and then talks to the nutrition. It's a complete teamwork. So they are all in sync with each other.
So nutrition is planned around all that.
Yes, and they all know each other. They talk to each other about me, so they know where I am and what I am going through. My coach and everyone are in sync, so it completely comes together and makes me as a product. Like I think I said this in the book launch we had, that every athlete is a sculpture, and everyone who's supporting it is an artist who's
Who are
sculpting.
carving them.
Yes, it's who are carving the athlete.
Wow.
So they are all the artists behind it, and like my parents and everyone are the artists behind it. Even for instance, you who are supporting me by spreading this message out, is kind of an artist who's sculpting me.
Yeah.
So it's not all my work; it's actually a major teamwork that's happening. So so nutritionist kind of plans it around it, and it's good that she also looks at it from a psychology point of view,
Yeah.
that what food fits me, like or if I'm having a sweet craving, how do I deal with it. And she has to have connect with me, like I have to connect with her if I'm off with the food, if I'm not really okay with something, so she makes the adjustments.
Yeah. So, do you follow any specific mindfulness or rather meditation practices?
So the thing is, my counselor told me that I often follow this, that you need at least minimum 1 hour of day, okay, alone with yourself.
Where you can disconnect from everyone.
Everyone, completely everyone. No gadgets, no anybody around you. You sleep or you either be with yourself. Just don't worry. Not reading also. Just meditate.
No consumption
No
of
consumption
things.
of anything. Just be with yourself. Like people often, at this point, imagine how much time do people spend without the gadget.
Right now, like, it's like creatures consuming information.
So right now it's become like so the thing, I think I saw Elon Musk talk about that we have become cyborgs in a way. What is cyborg?
True.
It's the mixture of a man and a machine.
Yeah.
And we have become cyborgs. You are 10 times smarter with your mobile phone than without your mobile phone.
Yeah.
So it's like a robot is attached to you all the time. So we have become a cyborg.
Exactly.
To be on the human side, you have to learn to detach yourself from that. So yeah, I try to. So there are some good days, some bad days. So that I do that 1 hour. I stay with myself without anything around me, and as well as when the days are really bad, when I'm not performing or any kind of pressure I'm having, I usually don't go through that. But when I go through that, I make sure I'm meditating. Just close my eyes, just meditate, and that has shown a lot of effects in my life. Good effects, yeah.
Just contrary to that, the thing which you said, humans are becoming cyborgs.
Yes.
So, are there any specific gadgets and apps which you use to make yourself more useful?
Useful? Yes. So one more thing. So what I do is, on the free times, I usually go watch podcasts. I usually go watch something which would educate myself rather than. So what happens is, for escaping, what humans do is go watch some serials or go watch something which just escapes you from the reality.
Probably some Facebook feed.
Facebook
of scrolling.
feed, yes, exactly. But the moment you get back to reality hits you hard. If you use that time to educate yourself, the reality will be much more pleasant when you come back to it. So if I'm driving, I'm usually on the podcast. I'm listening to someone or the other, and so I use a lot of podcasts.
Any
And
specific podcast
yes.
which comes to mind which you listen to?
I like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like your podcast now.
Thanks.
And yeah, I like Jay Shetty's podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is
he's brilliant.
blown up.
Yes.
Like
he's,
anything.
he's crazy. He's crazy. Like, And yeah, it's like I remember something related to this only, that he says he was being asked how is the new innovations bad for you? Is mobile bad for you? Is social media bad for you? He goes like, if you see this cup, it can be either filled with water or it can be filled with poison. It's up to you what you fill it with.
True.
So it can either be poison or water. So it's like a gadget which you can use for a good purpose or you can use for a bad purpose. I use a lot of Google Calendar because I have trouble remembering things.
Yeah.
So I need to have Google Calendar. For this interview, I had my Google Calendar on point. Like, okay, at this point, at this time, I have this interview to do.
Right.
And yes, Google Calendar is one of the useful things I'm using. And other than that, a lot of podcasts and YouTube for my benefits only. Learning, yes.
And for swimming, what gadget you use? I mean, any watch or
Um,
any gadget?
No, not really. I prefer, because out there I'm not gonna get any gadget with me.
Yeah,
So
true.
when you train, you always try to replicate what you're gonna do out there
In the race.
in the race or in the long swims.
Yeah.
So you have to just replicate it. So I try to be with myself and just swim, because the thing that kills you is the boredom of the swim.
Right.
The boredom is more dangerous than it looks.
So you have to train for the boredom as well.
Yes. So if you don't have problem being alone with yourself without any gadget, you'll be able to do the swim.
You'll be just fine.
Yeah, I had this swimming and my coach gifted me for doing really good swim once, and he gifted me a swim P3. So it's just swimming pods which are fixed outside the ears, which uses the ear noise induction thing.
Yeah, the
Bone induction,
Yeah,
yes. And I should listen to songs while swimming.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an amazing. This was the best gift he ever gave me.
Wow.
By the way, my coach's name is Gokul Kamath. Yeah, so he did that, and it's like I used it for a while, and it was long ago. I think before my open water swims it was, yeah, after that I stopped using any gadgets with me. Yeah.
All right. And can you name a person who has had a big impact on your life? Maybe like any of your coach or a mentor?
Yeah. Every single person I've had major impacts actually, but my parents have had major impact on me for showing the patience, for showing that confidence in me, because they had the confidence in me when no one had it. So I'm very much grateful to that, because yeah, back then, who would have supported me? No one. No one saw the potential in me other than my dad and my mom. They always saw the potential in me. My dad, maybe it was because of being from the sports background, they knew how to see the potential in a kid. Either it can be in sports or studies or anything. My dad himself is a coach. My dad is a national volleyball player. My mother is a national kabaddi player. My sister is a national swimmer.
Wow.
And so
The family of
yes, we are all athletes. Yeah.
athletes.
So the dynamics of this family is kind of different. Everyone is pretty fitness conscious.
I think that is the reason they are able to support you
Yes,
in a
yes,
different way
exactly.
than normal parents.
Yes, and my dad always taught me this thing, that don't play to win. Don't play a sport to just win. Play a sport because you like it. Sport is not meant to compete. It's meant to be like to develop a personality. That's the main cause of a sport. People
To enjoy
have
the process.
to enjoy
of
the
being in that
process.
sports.
Yes,
Sports.
it's not necessary to play a sport full-fledgedly just to compete, because that's what's happening in India. People play to win. People play. Have you seen a normal person, the office-going person, ever just just do sport for his fun? There are very few. It's either the gym, it's either anything else, but there are very few who are ready to do marathons.
Right.
The people are very less, and no one is doing a recreational sport. No one is playing volleyball at full-fledgedly to
At a competitive level.
yeah, exactly. So we need to learn like to enjoy the sport. We have forgot to enjoy the sport. That's what he taught me.
So
And
the parents are the major
Yes,
motivators.
true.
All right. So, what do you think about social media right now and the impact of social media to you as an individual?
It's great. Social media is good for you. Like I won't say social media is bad for you. It's driving you away from the reality. It depends. Always depends on
Yeah,
how
as you
use
said,
it.
like
Yeah, as I said it
you
earlier.
need to pick where you want to
Yes,
go.
exactly. You can like earlier. Remember we used to talk and we used to be parents used to make sure we are away from certain kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be like don't try to get the negative points from them.
Yeah.
So when you hang out with someone, it's up to you whether you take the positive points or do you take the negative points.
Right.
So it seems like social media, like whether you use it for your benefit or you use it for something else. But yeah, it depends on you. You can't blame the social media for your laziness or your being reluctant. Yeah. So I would say social media has had good impact on me, and that's what I've been working on, and it's helped me reach a lot of people. So it
Yeah,
has
it makes the world smaller.
more smaller. Yeah, you're connecting with a lot of people. You are trying to spread out message. It's become easier for me to spread out my message than it would have been without the social media. Imagine me trying to tell out say it out to the world that this message which I've been spreading of learning disability without a social media. How difficult would it make?
True.
Right now it's connected to everyone. My swims are connected to everyone. People can track me all the time. So it's brought us closer.
True. So coming back to a funny question, what under 5,000 rupees purchase you have recently made, which might have given you joy or maybe happiness?
Okay. Like I said it earlier, nothing can give me joy as much as food can give me joy. So
Omelette pav, then
yeah,
chicken lollipops.
Yeah.
What
so
next?
I think I spent a lot on food. A lot on food. Yes, I do maintain my diet. Like I'm telling out to my dietitian, I do maintain my diet. But on the cheat days, I spent a lot on food. So something I'm very much intrigued by and I love it the most is sushi.
Sushi.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's something on top of my list. Like I have to try every single sushi place in Mumbai, which I have actually done.
Ah.
Yeah, I have been
So
to.
which is the best place in Mumbai for sushi?
I think Jia Oriental was a really good sushi.
Where is that?
Jia Oriental is Kolaba.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Kofuku is all in Bandra. Yeah, these two places are like to go for sushi.
So you have spent the 5,000, I mean, maybe
Probably, yeah. I'm not sure. Like,
For a sushi.
yeah, sushi. Yes, I'm like all sold. If you can buy me sushi, I'm all sold.
All right. Any book that might be coming to your mind which you want to recommend to people?
Yeah. So I did my BMS, right? And right now, yes, I'm learning business. BMS is about business and everything. So I prefer reading. I have got books, and I was with Steve in San Francisco, and he gave this thought in my head of educating myself rather than educating myself for degree. So rather than
True.
doing an MBA, I am reading a book which connects me to MBA.
Wow.
So I don't aim to do really a 9 to 5 job because with my lifestyle I can't.
You can't sustain
yes.
that, yeah.
But why not educate myself if I want to be an entrepreneur, if I
Right.
want to build something of my build something new. So I'm educating myself with business. So one of the book he suggested me is the personal MBA. So right now
Personal MBA.
Yeah, the personal MBA, and it's from Geoff Kaufman. Yeah, and selling to Vito.
Selling to Vito.
Vito, yeah. And right now I'm reading personal MBA, which is giving me an insight on applications of business and how you can run a successful startup or a business. And it is very blunt. It will just like if you have something in mind, it will give you a sucker punch in your face that nope, this is not gonna work, or yes, this will work. So
True.
it's kind of really helpful. So I'm educating myself more there rather than for a degree. I would rather educate myself for my main business or something like
Right. From that, I remember the podcast which I very much listen to, the Tim Ferriss show.
that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Tim also mentioned he instead of going for an MBA,
Right.
the money which he had got from his parents, or maybe he collected that money, so he put it out into business or stocks
Yeah.
to gain from that.
Yes,
And
yes.
instead of like doing MBA and then doing some job.
Yes, yes.
So that works
Yeah,
out
it's
the
kind of
same way.
become a theory also in a way that the amount you spend in MBA, and so MBA is all about business.
True.
At the same time, think how will you recover that amount?
Yeah.
How will you get that return in, like, how will you get that money back? It's huge. If you want a good job, you have to do a MBA from an Ivy League.
Right.
You have to do MBA from
A
a big
class A
class A
college.
colleges, or else it's not of any use. It's
Right.
then at the
Right.
end of the day, BMS and MBA would be the same.
True.
It's not much of a hike. So I would rather educate myself, and I don't aim to do a 9 to 5 job. So yeah.
Great. And moving forward, as you are doing this marathon swim, so what is the next challenge? And apart from maybe swimming, are you looking forward towards something more challenging? Maybe a entrepreneurial side of things, or maybe in swimming some more challenging marathons, swim marathons.
So yeah, from an entrepreneur point of view, from the entrepreneurial side of view, yes, I am right now learning that part. Like I told you, I'm educating myself for that. I have some things in my mind which I might implement in couple of months. But right now, I would rather educate myself than go in rushing into it.
Right.
Because I can't afford to have any losses. So
Yeah.
I would rather right now just focus on educating myself by the books, not by colleges, but by the books itself.
Yeah.
And from swimming point of view, right now in few days I'll be flying to Spain. I'll be flying on 19th of June, and I'll be doing this swim in Vigo. It's named Batla de Rande.
Batla de Rande.
Yes, and I will be doing that swim. It's a 27-kilometer swim from one island to another.
In
And
Spain itself.
yes, in Spain itself. So yeah, it's one of the challenging swims, and I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. And so finally, before we wrap up,
Right.
I thought I should mention the book also. Like it's your book, but it's not written by you. It's like
Yes,
a biography.
It's like my book, but it's not my book.
Yeah, it's a biography by your
Yes,
parents.
yes,
Probably it's like a guide. I went through the book and I found it to be a guide rather than a book.
Yes, yes.
Towards achieving ocean swimming,
Yes.
like the open water swimming.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit more about this book?
Yes, yes, sure. So this book is basically a parent's point of view, a parent's perspective on doing on me as a kid, and on something like how do you manage everything. It gives the parents' point of view on the financial aspects, on the emotional aspects, and everything. It was a diary. It was a diary from what my mom wrote and what my dad wrote. Then it was articulated in Marathi, which went crazy boom. Everyone loved it, and then we chose to make it in English. And the whole purpose of the book was to like my message of spreading awareness and like eliminating the taboo on
Of
about-
learning disabilities.
Of learning disabilities, yes, and in the parents especially. So it's an amazing book for the parents. They come to know that how to deal with your kid, how to deal with certain things, and it says one message: be patient, and everything will give you like it will come to you. It will universe will bring it to you, and so this book has the insight of that, as well as it's a guidance for a lot of open water swimmers who want to go for English Channel, who want to go for Catalina, who want to go for Gibraltar.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
there is a lot of information in the
Exactly.
end, which I mean, it's very important. It's
Yes,
the
yes.
nitty gritty stuff, which
Yes, sir.
the numbers and everything. If somebody wants to
Yes,
go ahead for the English
exactly.
Channel or maybe the state of Gibraltar or
Yes.
Catalina, yeah,
Yes.
that's
It's-
amazing.
Yeah, it's in a way it's promoting the sport. It's my way of giving back to the community.
Yeah,
It's my way of giving back. I have got a lot from the community. I have given a lot of love. I've got a lot of support, and it's all been positive till date.
yeah,
And touch wood, it has been more positive. And it's a way of giving back, because once you get back, you have to give back to the community.
true.
This is a way of me giving back. Then me giving a talks is a way of me giving back to the community. This is not for our personal gain. It's rather for spreading awareness, spreading the message,
Giving back to
and
the
helping.
community itself,
Yes,
yeah.
and as well as it's to get open water swimming globally to India also. So I am trying to get get Mumbai on the global map because we have a lot of misconceptions on Mumbai outside, and I'm trying to bring people over here to swim Dharamtatu Gateway. And I forgot to mention this, that I made there's a Hall of Fame swimmer called Ned Dennison, and he has swam I think 60 to 70. It's I think 48 if I'm not wrong. Sorry if I'm wrong, but I think around 48 international open water swims,
Wow.
marathon swims. He is amazing guy, and he swam from Dharamtar to Gateway. He organizes a world open water swimming camp in Cork in Ireland. I was a part of it in 2017, and I think 2016 I was a part of it. 2016, 17, yeah. And it's a 9 days camp where all the swimmers from world come in together, and like top swimmers, and there are very limited spots. And from the swimmer who wants to swim the English Channel to a swimmer who has swum or else has accomplished like he has. The world record holders, Attila was there, everyone was there. So it was a great bunch of group together, and that's how
Like-minded swimmers.
Like-minded swimmers coming together, exactly.
True.
And I challenged him. He's a fun guy, and I challenged him. Why don't you come to Mumbai and
Do the Dharamtar to
Yes,
Gateway swim.
Yes,
And he did.
we come to you. We manage the cold and everything.
Yeah.
Try coming in some warm place for a change.
Yeah.
So he just said yes. He replied yes. He's a spontaneous guy. He booked up a tickets, and we booked his permissions.
Permissions
Yes,
from
the coastal
yeah,
permissions
the coastal
and
guard.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes, we did that, and then we made the swim successful. He was fast. He was a 60-year-old, and he's fast.
He's 60 years old.
Yes.
Wow.
He's 60 years. He must be 6'4". Huge guy.
Giant.
Yeah. And he swam faster than me.
Wow.
Yes, he swam it in 7 hours 51 minutes.
Such an inspiration.
Yeah, I swam it in 8 hours or something. Yeah, I swam it in not 8 hours. He swam it in 7 hours 51 minutes.
Wow.
And it was fun. I loved it. I loved the swim, and that was my way of getting people over here, making Mumbai something which is known for something else. Like it's known for slums, it's known for Dharavi, it's known for pollution, but it should be known for also open water swimming. Also, Mumbai has produced a lot of open water swimmers till date, and that's what I'm trying to spread message. And he came here, he saw flamingos, he was surprised. He's like, I have been to places just to see flamingos, and I'm surprised to see it was the last thing on my list I would have ever imagined
I will see here.
Yes, and he saw flamingos, he was shocked. He was absolutely shocked.
Wow.
And yeah, his perspective of Mumbai and
Changed.
Mumbai in general, India changed. It started from Slumdog Millionaire
Yeah.
to his like, whoa, this is
Whoa,
something
flamingos and
yes,
the beauty.
Yes, and it's like if we have the richest of rich also. We have places that are completely contradictory to Slumdog
The
Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Yes, and he was like, whoa, this was an eye-opener. So yeah. I'm
Mumbai
trying-
from another perspective.
Another perspective, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So, people go buy this book. This is available, I think, on
Yes,
Amazon?
It's available on Amazon. It's available on bookganga.com.
Bookganga.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Or else you can always drop me a DM or mail me, or just drop me a DM will
Sure.
also fine. Yeah, and I try to send it to you.
So, it was great talking to you, Shubham. Where can people reach you? I mean, if you want to plug your socials.
Yes. So people can reach me on Brown Boy Blue Waters, my Instagram handle, or my Facebook, which is Shubham Vanmali Brown Boy Blue Waters, and my Twitter is Shubham_Vanmali, or my YouTube channel Brown Boy Blue Waters. You can follow me there, and
He's everywhere.
yeah.
Brown boy, blue waters.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so people go and DM him on Twitter and Instagram and get this book. So, alright, so I'll put all these good stuff and links in the show notes of this episode.
Yes.
And thanks for sharing the amazing stories and the swimming adventure and the whole different world of swimming to us.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Himanshu again. Now, before you move on, here's something I want to share with you. I have one weekly newsletter which is called Saturday Pentacle. You can think of it as a weekly one-page magazine for the curious minds where you'll find 5 awesome things which I've been pondering on in the last week. It may contain popular articles, blogs, photographs, Instagram posts, books, videos, products, or thoughts. It's completely free. If you want to get it, just go to himanshusachdeva.com. That's my name, himanshusachdeva.com, and drop in your email. You'll get the very next one. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for listening.